Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for another deep dive. The sources you sent in about AI, well, it's been quite a journey going through them.
Oh,
There's
absolutely.
this real push and pull, this kind of tension. On the one hand, we've got those familiar anxieties, the robots are coming for our jobs, mass unemployment right around the corner.
Right, the classic fear.
But then on the other side, there's this wave of optimism. Maybe AI isn't just going to steal jobs, but create totally new ones, even lead us to I don't know, a more human society. So that's the big question we're going to tackle.
Yeah, that's the core of it, I think. And looking through all the material, two big ideas really stuck out. The first is what many of the sources call traditional AI, algorithms,
Right.
crunching data.
Automating factories, that kind of thing.
Exactly, things like that, making processes more efficient, solving problems faster. But the other idea that keeps popping up, this newer concept, is what they're calling affectionate intelligence. And it's all about bringing empathy and emotional understanding into AI. It's a whole different ballgame, and it might be the key to understanding where we're headed.
Fascinating. So in this deep dive, we're going to pull out the most important points from your sources about these two very different AI stories. And specifically, we'll explore if this affectionate intelligence can really balance things out, making sure tech helps us connect better instead of isolating us.
Sounds like a plan.
Where do you think we should start?
Well, might as well address the elephant in the room first, the
Isn't it?
fear, right? That's usually what people jump to when they think about AI. And a lot of your sources point to a major concern, AI taking over human jobs, especially the jobs with a lot of repetitive tasks.
Like, say, assembly line workers being replaced by robots.
Exactly. But it goes beyond manufacturing. Your sources mention customer service, those chatbot things, transportation, think self-driving trucks, even office jobs. Tons of administrative tasks could be automated.
It makes you wonder what happens to all the people doing those jobs now.
Right. And it's not just about specific jobs disappearing. There's this worry about skills becoming obsolete. Things are changing so fast that the stuff we're learning today might be irrelevant in a few years. How do people keep up?
And then there's this whole economic inequality issue. Like, if AI makes everything more efficient and productive, will the benefits just go to, like, the big tech companies and a handful of highly skilled people?
It's a valid concern, and it's interesting how some of your sources point out how media hype often plays into this dystopian view, the whole robots taking over the world narrative.
Makes for a good headline, right? But your sources also offer a more hopeful perspective. It's not just about jobs going away, it's about how work changes. AI could create entirely new types of jobs, even whole new industries, like those massive shifts we've seen before with, say, the Industrial Revolution.
That's a good point. Think about it. When machines started replacing manual labor back then, it was scary. But ultimately, we saw new industries popping up, new jobs that we couldn't have even imagined before. Your sources suggest AI could do the same, like data science, that's booming. Machine learning engineers, that's a whole new profession. And even AI ethics, which is becoming more and more important.
So it's not just about new jobs appearing out of thin air, right? There's also this idea of AI working alongside humans, augmenting our abilities.
Right, it's not always about replacing us completely. Sometimes it's about AI taking over the boring stuff, the tedious tasks, like imagine a doctor. AI could help them analyze medical images, process huge amounts of data. But the doctor is still there,
Mm.
using their expertise to interpret the results, make decisions, connect with the patient on a human level.
So the AI helps them be even better doctors.
Exactly. But for this to work, your sources really stress the importance of upskilling and reskilling initiatives. Governments, schools, companies, they all need to step up and make sure people have the right skills for this new world.
Like investing in job training programs,
Yeah.
making education more accessible.
Exactly. We need to adapt our education systems, make sure they're teaching the stuff that's actually relevant for an AI-powered world. And the interesting thing is, this increased productivity from AI could actually boost the economy as a whole. That could lead to more jobs in industries that seem completely unrelated to tech. It's a ripple effect.
So it's a lot more nuanced than just robots are stealing our
Yep.
jobs. Okay, I think we've laid some good groundwork here. Now let's dive into this concept of affectionate intelligence. It sounds really interesting, but how is it different from the traditional AI we just talked about?
Well, traditional AI is all about logic, right? Processing information, spotting patterns. It's what makes automation and efficiency possible. Affectionate intelligence is kind of a different beast altogether. It's about designing AI systems that don't just solve problems, but also understand and respond to our emotions with empathy. It's like bringing a bit of humanity into the tech world.
So it's not just a chatbot giving a programmed polite answer. It actually understands how we're feeling.
That's the idea.
So what makes affection intelligence, well, affectionate?
There are a few key things your sources point out. First, there's empathy and emotional recognition. This means using advanced tech like sentiment analysis to figure out how someone is feeling. It's like reading between the lines, picking up on subtle cues in the way we communicate.
So like whether someone's happy or frustrated or sad, even if they don't say it directly.
Exactly. And once the AI understands that, it can adjust its behavior. That brings us to the second key feature: enhanced communication. The AI can tailor its responses to be more appropriate, more helpful, more supportive. This could be huge for all sorts of things, like helping people resolve conflicts, providing mental health support, even just making everyday interactions feel more, well, human.
It's like the AI is not just processing information, it's actually connecting with us on an emotional level.
Right. And the ultimate goal, as your sources say, is to promote humanity. It's about infusing technology with a human touch, focusing on our emotional well-being as much as our efficiency.
It's like we're rethinking what technology can be. So you mentioned sentiment analysis earlier. What is that exactly, and how does it work in affectionate AI?
Sentiment analysis is basically how computers understand the emotion behind words. It's a big part of natural language processing, or NLP, which is how computers make sense of language in general.
Like the AI is reading between the lines, but in a more scientific way.
That's a good way to put it. They use algorithms to pick up on patterns in how we use language. For example, certain words tend to show up when people are happy, while others are more common when people are angry or sad.
Okay, so how does that translate into affectionate AI specifically?
Your sources point to a few important rules. First, it helps AI understand emotions within huge amounts of data. Think social media, customer reviews, all that text online. Sentiment analysis can sift through it all and figure out, say, how people feel about a certain brand or what the general mood is on a particular topic.
So it's like taking the emotional temperature of the internet.
Exactly. And then it can be used to improve individual interactions. Remember, we talked about that customer service chatbot? Well, if it can tell that you're getting frustrated, it can adjust its approach, maybe offer more help, or even connect you to a human agent. It's about making those interactions smoother and more positive.
That would definitely make online customer service a lot less painful.
Absolutely. And finally, sentiment analysis can be used to create more personalized experiences. By learning from your past interactions and understanding your emotional preferences, the AI can offer you content, recommendations, even support that's tailored to your needs. It's all about making technology feel less like a cold machine and more like something that understands you. So, in a way, sentiment analysis is that bridge between the logical world of computers and the emotional world of humans.
I'm starting to see how these seemingly different worlds can actually work together. Okay, so we've explored the two sides of the AI coin, the worries and the possibilities, and we've gotten a taste of this affectionate intelligence. But how does all this affect the future of work? Your sources seem to suggest a different way of looking at it.
Right. It's not just about jobs being replaced, it's about the entire workforce evolving. And this has happened before throughout history. New technologies come along and the kinds of jobs available change. But work doesn't just vanish. And with AI, especially with this idea of human AI collaboration, it seems like we're headed in that direction again.
Can you give me an example of what that collaboration might look like?
Sure. Think back to that doctor we were talking about. AI can analyze medical images, but it's the doctor who interprets those findings, makes the final diagnosis, and provides that human touch in patient care. It's a partnership, not a replacement. And this kind of teamwork could even lead to entirely new jobs, like people who specialize in managing those AI systems.
So AI isn't necessarily taking jobs, it's changing them.
Exactly. And there are those new industries we were talking about before: data analysis, cybersecurity, AI ethics. Those are all growing fields that need people with specific skills.
And as AI takes over the more repetitive routine tasks, humans can focus on what we're good at, things like creativity, innovation, strategic thinking.
Right. We can use our energy for higher level tasks that require those uniquely human skills. But for this transition to be successful, your sources really emphasize the importance of government and industry playing their part.
Like investing in retraining and education, making sure people have the skills they need for these new roles.
Absolutely. We need to adapt our education systems to keep up with the changing job market. And the idea of lifelong learning is becoming more and more important. We need to be constantly learning and adapting throughout our careers, not just relying on what we learned in school.
It sounds like we need to be pretty flexible and adaptable.
Definitely. And governments can help by encouraging innovation that focuses on AI augmenting human work, not just replacing it. For example, maybe offer tax breaks for companies that invest in these collaborative AI tools. The point is, with the right strategies, we can create a workforce that's more dynamic and resilient, not one defined by mass unemployment.
That's a much more positive way to think about it. So let's get back to affectionate intelligence. Your sources talk about it actually improving human connections. How does that work?
This is where things get really interesting because it's not just about efficiency anymore, it's about our well being, our social interactions. Your sources describe a world where tech is actually designed to be more empathetic and understanding, maybe even help us connect better on a global scale.
That sounds pretty amazing, but how would that actually work?
Your sources give some specific examples. One is mental health support. Imagine AI chatbots that aren't just spitting out information, but actually understand how you're feeling and can offer real support. They could be a lifeline for people who are struggling, especially those who might be hesitant to talk to a human. And since AI is available 24/7, it could make mental health resources much more accessible.
That could be a game changer for a lot of people.
Absolutely. Another area is conflict resolution. AI could help us navigate difficult conversations, maybe offer suggestions for how to respond in a more empathetic way, or help identify the root cause of the conflict. It's like having a neutral mediator who understands everyone's emotions.
Sort of like an emotionally intelligent referee.
Exactly. And then there's the impact on social media and online communities. Affectionate AI could help reduce toxicity, identify harmful content that goes beyond just specific words, and encourage more positive interactions. We could actually start having healthier conversations online.
That would be a huge improvement.
Definitely. And finally, there's the idea of personalized companionship. For people who are feeling isolated or lonely, especially older folks, an AI companion that understands their emotions could provide a lot of comfort and support. It's not meant to replace human connection, but it could be a valuable supplement, especially in a world where loneliness is becoming more common.
So it all comes back to that core idea of affectionate intelligence understanding human emotions. And sentiment analysis is that key technology that makes it all possible.
Right, being able to pick up on those subtle emotional cues, not just the words themselves, but the tone, the context, everything. That's how AI can really understand how we're feeling and tailor its responses to be helpful and supportive. Whether it's a customer service bot being extra patient or a mental health chatbot offering words of encouragement, it's all about using emotional intelligence to make our interactions more positive.
It's about moving beyond just transactions and actually connecting on a human level.
Yeah.
Your sources also offer some really compelling real-world examples of what this future might look like.
Absolutely. In healthcare, imagine AI not only helping with diagnosis, but also acting as a kind of virtual companion for patients, explaining things clearly, reminding them about medication, offering emotional support during tough times. It's about combining medical expertise with genuine care.
It's like a more holistic approach to healthcare, treating the whole person, not just the disease.
Exactly. And in education, imagine virtual tutors that can adapt to a student's emotional state, not just their learning pace. If they're getting frustrated, the AI can offer encouragement, suggest a break, or even adjust its teaching style. It's about creating a learning environment that's both stimulating and supportive.
It sounds like it can make learning a lot more enjoyable and effective. What about in the workplace? How could affectionate AI change things there?
Your sources paint a picture of workplaces that are more collaborative and less stressful. Imagine AI tools that can sense the mood of a meeting and intervene if things are getting too heated. Or maybe they can analyze employee feedback and help managers create a more positive work environment. It's about using AI to improve company culture and make work a more enjoyable experience.
So it's not just about productivity, it's about well-being too.
Exactly. And on a community level, affectionate AI could help us build stronger connections with each other. Social media platforms could use sentiment analysis to promote more respectful conversations and crack down on online bullying. We could even use AI to connect people with shared interests and create more vibrant local communities.
It's like using technology to bring people together instead of dividing them. These examples really show how powerful this could be. So what kind of future do your sources envision? Where does all this lead?
It's a pretty optimistic vision, honestly. They imagine a world where AI is seamlessly integrated into our lives, not just as a tool, but as a partner and companion. Workplaces could be more harmonious, healthcare could be more compassionate, education could be more personalized, and communities could be more connected.
It's a picture of progress, but progress that includes well-being and human connection. So, how do we get there? What concrete steps can we take?
Your sources highlight a few key areas. First, we need to keep investing in research and development, especially interdisciplinary research that brings together different fields of expertise. We need to keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI and human-computer interaction. Second, we need to focus on lifelong learning, making sure people have the skills to thrive in this changing world. And finally, we need to encourage collaboration across different sectors, bringing together technologists, educators, business leaders, policymakers, everyone.
It sounds like we need a pretty comprehensive approach.
Definitely. And the good news is it's already happening. Your sources mention some really cool examples of this in action, like those AI companions for emotional support and those learning platforms that respond to student emotions. These are early examples, but they show that we're on the right track.
It's not just a dream, it's starting to become reality. Well, we've come full circle, haven't we? We started with those anxieties about AI, and now we're talking about a future where it could actually make us more connected and empathetic.
It's a fascinating paradox, isn't it? And I think affectionate intelligence offers a really promising path forward. It's not about replacing human connection with machines. It's about using technology to enhance our ability to empathize and understand each other.
And while there are definitely challenges and ethical considerations to navigate, the potential benefits are enormous. If we approach it thoughtfully and inclusively, AI could be a powerful force for good, helping us create a more humane and compassionate society.
Absolutely. It's going to take all of us working together, but the possibilities are incredibly exciting. We can move beyond the fear of job displacement and embrace a future where technology helps us build a better world.
So to you, our listener, we leave you with this thought. How do you see this balance unfolding in the future? What role should empathy play in our increasingly technological world? We encourage you to keep exploring these questions, keep learning, and keep imagining the possibilities. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.